I don't know how it works for other people casting, Zane. Did you figure that out yet?
Unofficial casters are members of the community who are casting comp masters on their own and are not affiliated with the group. You're expected to meet a whole bunch of rules of conduct that you will meet by default anyway. Teams have to agree to let you cast, and presumably also me. And cast must be streamed on a minimum of 5 minutes delay, and casters must be willing to cast outside the top division. Use of professional-looking overlay is highly recommended. I can copy-paste you the relevant rules if you'd like.
I mean, as long as I don't do anything rude, I'm sure I'm fine.
I'm sure you'll be.
I'm a little nervous, not gonna lie.
Actually playing the match. Oh, this is fine. Casting game. Ooh.
Oh my god! I guess I'll move to Sworded Lance.
I'll jump over with you.
Alright, cool. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Have fun, y'all. Sorry I dipped right there.
No.
Did we win that match, by the way?
They're being annoying and sniping.
Oh, okay. I did 1200 damage. That was not bad. Anyways, I'll catch you guys later.
Cheers.
Oh my god, Zane! I got 200 seconds. Still haven't gotten the request in. Apparently they're still organizing their team.
And then, if possible, ideally it would just be to get me thrown as a caster, but I would also need to get approved by both teams.
So do we have to worry about setting up the map? I still have like 159 seconds, but...
Yeah. First map is HPG 270, and then I'm looking up to see who should be on team 1.
Okay, cool. Appreciate the help.
Yeah, no worries.
Still not live yet. We still got like 140 seconds.
Stagecraft, these sorts of deadlines are normal.
What's going on in here?
We're about to do a cast, so
Yeah, I saw. That's pretty cool.
yeah, we're gonna try it. Let's see how this goes.
I was talking to my phone for the last hour or so to my mom. I came back to your stream and I was like, "What the hell is going on here?" I saw them asking you in the other channel.
Yeah, trying to see how this goes. I've got my controller ready though, so should be set.
Team
I've
1 is
never even tried specking.
1 second. What was that saying?
Bears Brawlers, so they're starting team 1.
Okay. I guess I have the lobby invite.
You send it and throw me to spectator, please.
It said my selected mech can be brought into the game. That's weird. I don't move my stuff over there. All right, there we go. Yep.
Hosting this on your channel, right?
Yeah, I guess so. Where are you at, Zane? I'm so nervous. There we go. Found you. I can't send you an invite.
Why not? Oh, do they have to send me an invite? Because if they made the room?
Make sure you put a link to your stream in the general discussions area of the tournament Discord. You get a bunch of viewers.
You mind posting that for me, Hinton?
Sure.
Thanks, man.
Still waiting on invite.
Hopefully I spelled your name right. 07th underscore Zane. Yeah.
I don't know if there's an 07th.
Yeah. In the friends list there is. All right, going live now. And welcome back, everybody, to some Mechwarrior Online.
Discord stream or something.
We should be going into a wonderful time. I can go live there to make it easy for you. We're never casted before, so this is gonna be very interesting to see how this goes. But this should be fun. Well, yeah, I haven't casted for MWO, so I'm trying to make sure we get our co-caster in here. Invite sent to 07th Zane. It is 07 or 07?
07.
Numerals. Add Mr. Bear. MR Bear. Space Bear. No worries. Yeah, you need to send a friend request to Mr. Bear.
Yes, I have sent it.
Okay. Right? 377 T? I don't remember what that lead is. Yeah, we are back. Yeah, we're casting. There you are, Zane. Look at you.
Yeah.
Alright, Hitting. Unfortunately, you can't say anything, just so you know, okay?
Yeah.
From me to spectator.
I can't move you, unfortunately. Infraction, they're playing with an extra player. Infraction indeed. Cranect, good to see you. Thank you for the follow. We're hoping to do some casting. We're gonna try to help out with our two teams right here.
270.
I don't have a way to change that. That's all them.
Okay. So Mr. Bear is the one actually running the library, or
yeah, I guess we're just here to talk about how great they are and what they're doing. Yeah, Strike Wing versus Bear
Thank you to
Brawlers.
Mr. Bear and Furions for letting us do this cast.
Indeed, we're pretty excited about it. For sure.
Mr. Bear seems to have a very solid head on his and or their shoulders.
Good luck to both teams. Here we go. All right, here we go. We're going to be dropping with, like I said, we have both teams here. And if I remember correctly, it's Bear Brawlers is Mr. Bear's group, I'm assuming, right?
I would believe so. I believe so, yes.
That would make sense.
If you want, I can pull up the actual stats. Give me a sec.
Oh yeah, anything that you'll probably be doing a lot of technical. I'll be just trying to get the high octane action as much as I possibly can. All right, this is Untown, and we have 07 Zane with us. You want to say hi real quick, Zane?
Hello.
Hello. So we're both part of the 2D20 unit, but we're happy to be casting for this team. We thought this was gonna be really great. This is the real thing.
One thing I
thought this was practice.
Whoever does their
practice.
Whoever does their HTML
real
like, website
life
design. That's a lot of love into their website.
Oh, I love Ace is Wild. Easy shout out for all that hard work they've been doing. They put a lot of effort into this year, and especially with that last week. That last week they had to put in like I think 6 teams all on the same day within what 6 or 7 hours. So easy shout out to them. They did a great job.
Bears Brawlers led by Mr. Bear.
I know
versus,
we're casting. How cool is that? Oh,
who are led by Furions.
yeah, it looks like they're still organizing the teams, and once everything is ready, they'll be good to launch, and we'll do our best to try to keep an eye on the content. Like I said, Zane, if you wouldn't mind just like reading off the technical loadouts, and I'll try to kind of focus on the gameplay itself, and we can just play it as it goes.
So, having watched a couple of the other streams, probably the best thing to do is for you to cover one team, I'll split up and cover the other team, and then you read out your loadout, and I'll read out my team's loadout. That's probably the most like organized way to do it.
It's gonna be good. It's gonna be exciting. Just because we have our own matches and we get destroyed doesn't mean we can't enjoy all these other great games. And we're gonna get to see, like I said, 4 Strike Wing being led by Barons versus the Bear Brawlers with Mr. Bear leading that group. It's hopefully gives some good content. So we're excited to see. We're excited to be there for them. Root them on. Pick your favorite team. I think I'm gonna root for both because I just want to see a good match. I don't care about blowouts. I don't care about shutouts. I just want to see them work. So that's what we're hoping for. Dan McMahon, thank you for the follow. Thank you for the support. We're excited to be casting. It's our first time casting for MWO. Done a little bit of casting in my time with Counter-Strike and Valorant, but we have not done any casting for MWO. So this should be exciting. Let me know what I'm doing right. Let me know what I'm doing wrong. And Zane will definitely cover up the rest of it. All right, Grim PLEXUS drop 1. Who will be the victor? We will find out momentarily. Oh boy. All right, it looks like we're going to have the 2 teams drop. Everyone's still getting to position. Remember, everybody, so Kappa, Gamma, Sigma are the 3 checkpoints that everyone is able to capture. If they capture Theta or they capture Epsilon, unfortunately, that means they need to secure the kills against the enemy team, and caps don't matter. So this should be good. It was that? Yeah, it was the underscore. All right, we have our teams dropping in. Let's see how this goes. We have a 5-minute delay, so there's no cheating allowed.
Okay, so I have blue team.
You have blue team? All right. All right, you got blue team, then I'll have Richard red team. All right, looks like red team is kind of figuring out the situation. We're just gonna skirt our way over there to see what's gonna be happening. Red team, let's see what kind of mechs they have. Let's see what kind of stuff we can play around with. So, red team is moving out. I think I see ourselves a blackjack. We got ourselves another blackjack. We have ourselves, ooh, look at a good old dervish. I love the gray matte color scheme, making it very sneaky, very hard to see. We got ourselves a hellspawn, ooh, what is that? Ooh, all right, I like it. Got ourselves a, oh, was that 2 hellspawns that I see? Here, we'll make it a little bit easier for everybody because I want to be able to actually catch some of this coolness.
Oh, hey, I have our first cicada.
Oh, we have a cicada? All right, we got 2 hellspawn over here with a dervish and a Osiris and 2 blackjacks. Ooh, I kind of like the drop. An interesting drop. Now, it looks like blue team has indeed secured the both Kappa and Gamma for them, while it looks like red team is staying in a group effort and trying to move their way over to Sigma. Will they be able to capture it and then make something of it afterwards? I believe they are.
What's the key to bring up the mech information again?
I have no idea. Please let me know. I'm just talking away as I watch this epic movement go over. Nothing like watching MechWarrior Walking Simulator. Good stuff. Good stuff. All right, blackjacks are leading behind, but thankfully this
LB10, which should be fun. And it looks like the Bears have pushed through to Kappa after taking their nat, and Strikewing is just starting to get on Sigma.
Enemy
forces have Sigma.
I like that. So now we can see the team names, making it a little bit easier.
The other mech I'm curious to see how it's going to work out on Bear Cavalry is they're running a Shadowhawk with an LB10 and 4 SRM4s. I am very curious to see how that works out.
If you haven't already, press backspace so you can see all the names at all times.
I do have that up.
And how did you actually select the mech to see who's actually pilot or what they're running?
Look at it, hit enter, and then hit backspace to bring up the mech detail.
All right, looks like the team is moving over to Epsilon now. I think we're about to see our first scouting come over from, who is that? Kiriyami? Yeah, Kiriyami might have actually noticed the enemy team as they move over to the Epsilon quadrant. Looks like they're trying, red team is trying to make a play for Kappa, or excuse me, Gamma. Oh, no, look at that segue. They are actually getting into position. Now, the question is, who scouted who? What's going on with blue team? What are they doing?
So the commando tried to peek over Hamburger Hill and hopefully spotted red team. I don't know if they have. And the main body of Bear Cavalry is set up in the choke just behind Kappa.
Yeah, I see this happening. It does look like Strikewing is kind of moving up towards the hill where the commando was last seen. Now, did the commando notice it? That's the real question. This is the benefit of having scout mechs, being able to have a forward observation, so they're able to ideally see this action in order to alert their friendly team. Ooh, first shot's coming out. Looks like a little tit for tat. Who will actually win this exchange? First UAV going up for the game. Ooh, and look at that suppressive fire coming out. Is that the Shadowhawk doing that work? No.
I believe so.
Definitely see some Shadowhawk action. Looks like the Bushwrecker.
So both teams have kind of set up a firing line around the entry point to Kappa. But it looks like...
Ooh, large lasers coming up from Barons.
Is that the Osiris, the light mech that's sneaking off for the flank on Strikewing?
That is indeed the... No, it's the Hellspawn actually moving over. Hellspawn's trying to get a cheeky angle. It does seem like we have our Strikewing forces a little scattered. We have a little bit of attacks going on the right-hand side. Blackjack's trying to do their ranged poke with large lasers. Looks like there's a little bit of a staggered effect by them, trying to see if they could crack this egg that this Bear Brawlers has put upon. Now, the thing is if you're not paying attention to the cap points, we have 2 friendly enemy UAVs coming up from first strike, but what do we have? But Bear Brawlers is definitely in a steady lead. That means they are going to need to crack this open if they have a chance.
Basically ideal for Bear Brawlers here. They have a good defensive position with some nice sightline, and Strikewing needs to push into them.
Looks like they are trying to do a pincer effect. The UAV is finally being popped by Bear Brawlers, trying to see if they can get the intel. Bear Brawlers still staying grouped, still trying to maintain their murder ball. I think they now sense and know that we have Force Strike Ring is actually separated, so there looks like they're trying to take an advantage. But in the same time, the pincer from Strikewing is now coming in.
Yeah, but Bear Brawlers are collapsing. They've got a 5v3, and then they've just sent the light back out to keep the rest of Strikewing distracted.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, Bear Brawler is actually pulling their mechs back, knowing that they have the two blackjacks up close and personal. We already saw the blackjacks are running large lasers, and they're still trying to put out the damage. There we go. There we go. Yep, first mech going down to Technomancer. Fallen Legion. Now also Dambiron's falling down. We only have a 6-3 versus 3 situation with the roughest mech being in daily, the Roughneck from Bear Cavalry. 52%. Will they be able to secure a kill from Strikewing? Oh, it's getting needy.
Bear Cavalry, I think. They have the defensive position, they have the clear lines of sight, and they just won the fight. Well done, guys.
Yep, definitely a pretty clean fight from Bear Cavalry. They were doing their best to try to get the intel as soon as they can with the commando. And with the 2 cap advantage, it did come down to Strikewing trying to push in order to make something happen. The pincer attack could have worked, and it almost did for a moment. But Bear Cavalry was able to correct that and get back into position in order to take out those blackjacks. Very consistent match once the brawl started, but it was interesting poking.
Just had a quick thing. Backspace for tab for one of the parts, we need backspace for the other, and then Q to select mechs.
Q, thank you very much. Welcome everybody. So this is our first time as 2D20
on that Hellspawn.
Unfortunately, I did not get to see it. I believe that it was a brawl though, a brawl focused build. Greetings and salutations everyone. My name is Yuto. I'm with 07 Zane. First time us casting ever a match for MW, so we might be a little rusty, we might be a little over the place, but please let us know and how we can correct it and make this better for your experience, and we'll do our best. But we're excited to be here, I'll tell you that much. Tab, space secure, what you have to press when dropships are flying when inspecting. Thank you very much, Mean Man. Appreciate that. There's a link to the keyboard commands in ISC Discord for spectator mode. Great Matter Games, I appreciate that as well. Keeping us involved. Yeah, Hellspawn, that's interesting. I thought it was pretty interesting as well. Wasn't that fascinating? All right, first drop down, second drop on the way. So like I said, it looks like the first drop did indeed go to our Bear Brawlers because they just were grouped up very well. Zane, with that first drop, do you think the second drop is going to go more or less to the same, or do you think that Strikewing is going to be able to bring this back?
I think what Strikewing needs to do is they need to commit to a fight. Like we saw when they had the pincer, they had the 2 split around the big pillar there outside of Kappa. If they had started up that fight, it's possible they could have won it. But from what we saw of their builds, their drop really wanted to be staying at range and plinking away.
I think so.
Essentially, they really wanted to be on the other side of that match. They wanted to be set up with a nice gun line around Kappa. And instead of having to push into it. I'm curious to see if they're going to run the same kind of build back or if they're going to adapt for drop 2.
It was definitely an interesting call for them not to. Only the lightest mech they had was the Osiris, and the Osiris can't be. It's a great mech. It is from my personal experience, and they only didn't really use it to secure the other than the gimme flag. And they definitely, I think that's what hurt them the most is that when it came down to the actual fight, as you said, the range mechs just weren't able to do as much damage as they needed to do in the middle of it. The Roughneck definitely did help indeed, going from the Bear Cavalry's response time. And it definitely seemed like if they wanted to have that range battle, they need to secure a second cap so they have that advantage.
And so, having pulled up the hard points on the Hellspawn 9F, I'm going to take a guess and say it was a mix of MPLs and SRMs, as it has 3 energy hard points and 4 missile hard points.
That would definitely be really good in these kind of brawls, and that's what some of these fights have been, has just been either brawl focused. We haven't seen too many range fights, at least in the experience I have. Zane, did you catch any of the streams that allowed more of a range stance in Grim PLEXUS?
Grim PLEXUS.
Greg Berg, good to see you as well.
But watching the KD or Comstar Postal Surface versus the what's the other team? KSDC. Not 100% on their name. I'm going to get it in a second here. Kel's Danger Close Mercenaries. They did run a fairly long-range match on Mining Collective. Comstar Postal Service had a triple Grasshopper drop that worked decently well.
Okay, interesting. Let's say I'm really. Go ahead.
Despite what I've heard from Andy and having looked up the other like previous ISCs, it doesn't seem to be the long range fight around the very corner of the map outside of Epsilon there that I would have expected from a drop like Strike Wings.
It's definitely interesting seeing what they do for this next round. I think obviously it's very doable. They can do a lot of good stuff. And I think we're going to see another good fight. Now they have a better measure of each other. So this is what we're hoping for. Obviously, nerves are a factor, and they will come into play from time to time. But I'm hoping that we can see a little more of a back-to-back kind of fight. You know, I want to see some blood and guts spilled from these mechs. You know what I'm saying, Zane?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Tab is a team info enter maybe for Ragdoll. Thank you very much, Credit. We'll try to get on top of that. Grey Wolf, thank you for the tab info. I don't have any way to access the tab info right now, but in game I definitely will. Thanks for again all the assistance, everybody. I know you're getting this as a 5 minutes late. We're trying to do our best to be better. Like I said, to reintroduce ourselves once again, my name is Untitled. This is 07 Zane.
Hello.
We are part of the 2 Joni crew, and they were looking for a streamer or someone to cast for this match, and we were excited to do so. I've had a little bit of experience of casting other matches, like for Counter-Strike and Valorant. I have not had the opportunity to do it for Mechwarrior Online, but I am excited to be here. Zane, are you also excited?
Well, we saw the post in the ISC Discord, and I'll be honest, I really like the idea of doing color casting for this sort of thing. I may not know nearly anything about this game. I'm curious to learn, and if nothing else, I can ask questions that chat can make fun of me for.
Absolutely. And if anything, this is going to be a fun feature, a double feature. You see, they get to see a great match drop, and then they get to see 2 noobs do their best at casting. Well, I mean, with that implications, what can you not love? Might be a custom of I think the F was for locking the vertical
axis.
I would like
to thank Man and the other people in chat telling us all of the shortcuts.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Most definitely. Don't forget, you can take company command to re-invite your unit mates. Cool. No doubt. I hope you guys are excited. Have we had any good matches?
Full disclosure, we are also participating in this tournament. We lost handily, but not embarrassingly, I would say, our first match to Pi earlier this week.
Oh, Pi, Black Squadron Sheep. Black Sheep Squadron, excuse me. What a great unit. I have definitely played with a bunch of them many times. I remember quickly, Aggie Lawgirl actually just had her birthday this past Saturday, or today, in fact. So happy birthday. But anyways, yeah, Pi was a great team. They were definitely a good matchup. It was definitely a good learning curve for us. And I'm hoping that we can have many more games. But this is not about 2D20. We're just happy to be playing. We're happy to be participating. We are here for Strike Force and Bear Brawlers. And I bet we're going to have a better match in this round 2.
Indeed.
Indubitably. Woo, I'm super excited for this.
Curious to see, like, throughout this tournament, we've seen, unsurprisingly, a lot of medium pulse lasers being dropped by, like, basically every team. I am curious if we're going to see Bear Brawlers or Strike Wing switch it up and try a different weapon system. It could just be that medium pulse lasers are going to be the most efficient or pinpoint weapon, and particularly for these later drops, you need you definitely need that sort of pinpoint damage when you're hunting for legs the way you are.
It's definitely the experience that we felt firsthand whenever we got caught up into a brawl and we were not nearly as focused. Those MPLs, like, they really do shred. I know everyone's tired of seeing MPLs all the time, but they're there for a reason. They do the work, especially in the right hands. And yeah, I have to say, I'm definitely excited to see if we're going to see more of that. Because you know what, MPLs, it's great. It makes to a great fight. Hopefully we can get a little more involved with the content and see what actually they're going to be doing in, like, you know, face-to-face kind of value. Now that we have a better idea of what keys and what abilities allow us to actually see the mech loadouts, we can kind of give an idea ahead of time, so we kind of just see what kind of match we can expect. But yeah, I'm super excited, and thanks again for all the support. We're gonna do our best not to, you know
what we need to do,
make it messy for you guys. We're gonna try to keep engaged. We're gonna try to give information.
Someone like either someone for Aces Wild or someone with a lot of experience in ISC come on and just talk about the typical strategies for this map.
Oh yeah, that would be some insightful intel. I mean, I know we've been trying to ask them a lot. I mean, not Bob and then Colin Firestar putting a lot of work, like I said, into setting up this tournament and still being willing to answer a lot of questions. I personally have mentioned them plenty of times, being like, "Please help me. I'm sad and poor." Like, and they've been there every single time. So yeah, I would definitely enjoy their insight. And I have to. I'm not gonna lie to you. I just think not Bob sounds really cool. I think that's really what it comes down to. Thank you for the follow as well.
Into match.
All right, drop 2, everybody. Drop 1 did indeed go to Bear Brawlers. Let's see if drop 2, if Strikewing can actually bring it back. We saw Strikewing bring a range build with a little less focus on lights. And we saw that, again, Bear Brawlers, I remember just saying a Roughneck. It didn't really take over too much of their team. What else did they have?
They had the Roughneck and then a pretty standard mix of MPL Brawlers. Interestingly, the Roughneck was running an AC-20. I know you and I have been trying to find a spot for the Roughneck because I think, especially for the sort of brawl heavy drops we've been seeing in ISC so far.
No problem, Mr. We're happy to do it. Absolutely. All right, so I'm assuming you're going to be covering the same team, or are we swapping teams now?
Yes, I will be covering red team because they're dropping near where I spawned in.
All right, sweet. Yep. You're covering red team, you said?
No, I'm covering blue team.
Hey, okay, we got there. All right.
Command coming in. Capture and hold the resource points. Stop any hostiles that get in your way.
All right, well, like I said, we're gonna try to do our best to actually be able to help you guys out. Looks like from the red, so if it looks like from the red team, we got ourselves a Bushwhacker, Shadowhawk, a Irby coming out into play. Oh, I love to see an Irby, Roughneck, and a Commando. So we're seeing a kind of a similar drop from what I was remembering for the red one. And once again, they are going for the double cap. What's going on with the blue team? Or excuse me, we're Strikewing.
Remembering things.
It's Beerons. Hey, no problem. Appreciate you, Beerons. Appreciate Miss Bear. Thanks for inviting us to check this out. Hopefully we do you guys proud. We're not going to be super biased towards anyone. We just want to see a good fight, and I bet you guys can deliver. So we're happy to be here.
2 Dervishes, 2 Osiris, another
Enemy forces have Sigma.
Hellspawn, HSN. I'm not 100% on what that one is. And then a Blackjack 2. So very similar drop from Strikewing coming back.
And it seems like Strikewing once again is not opting for their gimme flag. Instead, they're looks like they're looking for a brawl. Would you agree?
Yeah, I'm curious. I think actually what they're going to do is they're going to set up at the gas station and then try to keep Overwatch on the Theta point as the other team pushes through. That would be my guess.
I think that is a fair estimate. It does look like we have Bear Cavalry actually moving in and once again securing that cap, but securing that Sigma, giving them that lead and edge that what helped them in that last match. Looks like they're trying to repeat the same solutions that they got before. Let's see if it works out for them once again.
So the Hellspawn is bringing 2 SRM4s, 2 SRM6s, and ER Smalls. And the Osiris is bringing medium pulses and 3 rocket launcher 20s. That's curious.
Ooh, interesting. Hey, do me a favor, Zane. Remind me what is the key to allow you to look at the mechs once more.
What I'm finding, and this may not be the optimal one, click on the mech until you get the white circle and then hit enter to bring up the ragdoll and builds.
Ah, there we go. You're beautiful in every single way, and I'm not just saying that because you're my co-caster. So we have a Shadowhawk with AMS 3 AC2s
here that I think is quite smart. As I understand how the weapon door mechanics work, on something like the Dervish or other mechs that run weapon doors, if you put a rocket launcher or another missile weapon underneath the missile door, but actually keep them closed, you do get a level of damage mitigation. So we're seeing quite a few of Strikewings are bringing rocket launchers, and I have to assume that the Osiris are fast enough to get behind some of the heavier mechs on Bear Cavalry and just
I love the K9.
Pop those one-shot rockets and hopefully core out someone from behind. Whereas on the Dervish, in addition to giving you a bit of an extra alpha, those rockets are letting you get the extra armor out of your 2 side torsos. But right now, this game, it's almost like 2 ships passing in the night. We can see that we have the Commando from Bear Cavalry trying to sniff out where the main body of Strikewings are, only to have them basically just rotate straight around Theta.
And that is the question that I was actually thinking about. It looked for a moment that I believe that when the Commando is Kiriyami 88 was indeed noticed the enemy force. Now, with that said, was there a call out to let them know the team where they were? Possibly, because we do see that there is an Urban Mech who's now looking down that same avenue, that left side. We have actually our first shots coming out from, I believe, our Shadowhawk being piloted by Blue Serios. If I butcher your names, I do apologize. I am Polish Ukrainian, and everyone gets my last name wrong. But more importantly, let's see what happens with this match. So the first shots are indeed going. Who will actually win this? Who's going to win this actual fight?
How Strikewing wins this game is they push through, commit to the fight, and win out on Kappa. They might be able to get the pick on Bear Cavalry's scout, who is trying to just sneak in from behind here on the commando.
Oh, most definitely. I was gonna say the commando seemed to just get all the information and all the intel they could ever want in this match. They have not been noticed whatsoever. First artillery strike going out of the game. No UAVs yet, but still, we're not quite yet in the brawl. We won't see that just yet. But I like the artillery strike going down, trying to void out the strike wing, so maybe it can look at the other time. But looks like Strikewing is putting themselves pretty much in the exact same position. Artillery strike coming from Strikewing in order to try to displace a little bit of Bear Cavalry. Bear Cavalry, though, not really feeling the hits just yet.
One thing that is, I want to call out here, that I think was actually quite smart from Bear Cavalry, they've switched up their builds a bit. They're now running a lot of Rack 2s, a lot of AC2s, a lot of longer range weaponry. And again, they've set themselves up on Kappa, and they've got a beautiful firing line.
I mean, that 2-cap lead is definitely going to be working in their favor. They have no reason really to engage in this fight, especially if it's meant to be just a ranged fight. They're able to keep them at bay with artillery, with racks, and DACA to make this an easy, shutout. So they really need to do something. They're only at the 300 points for Bear Cavalry. It's still definitely doable if they can win this fight. Now looks like it is indeed engaging.
Bear Cavalry is pushing out. They've got a 5v3 against the one half of Strikewing here. We'll see if the back half of Strikewing's team, because if they can get around and engage on the back half of Bear Cavalry's main body, I think Strikewing could win this out.
Now the question is, it going to be quick enough? Because look at that, already got our first mech down. Technomancer, Rip and Chad, everybody. They're trying to resist this assault. Will they be able to do it? That Roughneck having no fear, pushing in. Monsoon, Cloudburst trying to focus Fallen Legion TV. Does look like there is a little bit of current, focus brawling. Now it does look like the rest of Strikewing is trying to come in to assist their teammates. Will they be able to put in enough damage to turn the tide? With Monsoon Cloudburst taking the brunt of that damage with the Roughneck at 55%. Bloody Hard running Cicada 3M at 77%. And looks like the fight has now gone into a relatively 4v6.
Exactly what that Roughneck wants to be doing. It's got SRM4s and an LB10.
And the first death going to Bear Cavalry. Go ahead, Zane.
That Roughneck died doing exactly what it wanted to do in that fight. You've got a ton of armor, you've got a lot of short-range weapons. Go and get stuck in and keep the fire on the 65-tonner and not the rest of your team. And that's 4 down now for Strikewing. I think Bear Cavalry is just going to clean this up.
I think that is very much what we're about to see. With last one, Shay's Darkflame going in with the Dervish. Will they be able to succeed? They are trying to shred that armor. They're trying to put that DPS, and they died very bravely with six kills by Bear Cavalry with 1 kill to Strikewing. Another similar matchup to the last one, I would say.
And again, I think Bear Cavalry, they had a solid defensive position. And they picked the fight they want.
They did indeed. They definitely.
And now, as we move into round 3, we are going to be changing maps and upping tonnage. The next 2 games will be played out on Mining Collective with 350 tons per drop, I believe.
It is 330 or 350. I feel like it's closer to 350. I will double check that right now because I also have numbers in front of me. It is indeed 350.
So we should start to see some heavier maps. Now, one of the things we have seen quite a lot in ISC so far is the Vulcan has been I would argue, the king mech on Mining Collective, just because of the jump jets and how quick that mech can get around the tiny map. Because Mining Collective, compared to Grim PLEXUS and HPG, the 5th and final map that the teams are going to be playing on tonight, is a very, very small map and a very vertical map.
Absolutely, and I would actually be kind of curious, since we've seen such a range output coming from Strikewing, maybe we'll actually see some Grasshoppers in this drop as well.
I believe they're starting on Team 2 for Mining Collective, correct?
Team 2 with the swap, I believe that you are indeed correct.
So one thing that we might see them do is drop with an Annihilator on Mining Collective. Because if you're on Team 2 on Mining Collective, you can set yourself up overlooking that courtyard, and you have amazing firing lines on Theta. And that could be playing into exactly what Strikewing seems to be wanting to do here, which is to take these sort of longer range fights.
And it definitely seems like what they're comfortable with. Now, the key, I have to stress it, the key here, though, is that if they do not cap a flag, at least one flag, they are just putting themselves further into a hole until they take action. I think that they are comfortable with the range, so I think Mining Collective, of how small the map it is, maybe they'll work more to the benefit, because they'll have a little more map control in order to secure a flag, maybe just push off the enemy. I do applaud trying to get into the fight right away, and maybe they just need a little bit better on the scouting in order to try to spot the enemy team, but I'm not going to count them out yet. We've seen it plenty times over where GrimPlex's both drops get won by a certain team, and then the other team brings it back on Mining Collective. I myself cannot pilot a light mech to save my life, so I was very thankful for Mining Collective. Go ahead, please, Zane.
Oh, presumably that's why you hired me.
Oh, absolutely, Zane. You are my best. Well, I think you and Indigo probably need to have a fight in order to see who's the best light mech pilot. But yes, indeed, you are definitely one of my token light mech pilots, and I'm glad that you're in that role, so I can say my comfy, heavy armor tonnage mech. I don't have to worry about being one shot. You know how it is. Just gotta enjoy it.
I enjoy playing Dark Souls. And I started playing this game right after the PSR reset. So probably my first match, I jumped into a Cicada 3S only to get headshot for about 4 matches straight.
I mean, they gotta headshot you. If they knew what you were gonna become, they probably wish they headshotted you more.
Thanks?
Thanks? That was indeed a compliment, but I know sometimes it's hard to tell. I just want you to know, Zane, that while I appreciate these teams that we're playing for, I'm more happy just to be playing with you or hanging out with you. Look at us, spectating together, getting to see all the crazy shenanigans that these two teams are bringing for us, and what a show so far. Definitely good recon by the Commando. I definitely agree with that. And that's the thing we're kind of talking about.
I don't have the data set in front of me because I haven't been compiling it. But I would be curious. I'm pretty sure both the hero mechs that Bear Cavalry have run so far has been the Urban Mech K9, which it's a solid Urban Mech. It's got 5 medium pulses, jump jets, and Urban Mechs are quite tanky for their tonnage. I think we're going to see it on Mining Collective once, but then we won't see it for the rest of the tournament because that will have been their 3 drops.
I mean,
the other hero that I've seen quite popular that I'm a little surprised we haven't seen yet is the Quick Draw IV4. Has been a very popular hero, and then the one that I saw quite a bit today was the Catapult Jester.
Yeah, I would like to see a catapults because, you know, catapults are adorable in every single way. But yeah, I would be curious to see a Quick Draw. I mean, with our own team, we actually did bring the Quick Draw into the team too. Didn't do much work with it, but against Aces Wild, they were definitely pretty excited about their own Quick Draws as well. But we also go ahead.
Quite bad. We also got beat quite bad by the Quick Draw IV4s in our match.
That is true, but I feel like a Quick Draw could work in this map. It has the jump jet capabilities, and of course the Quick Draw is just a solid mech with all of its armor quirks and structure quirks. Makes you sad inside to lose to one, but at the same time you can't blame it. Yeah, no, and I think that chat has a really good point. Definitely good games, but the brawl, that's definitely what it comes down to. Like, if you can't win your brawl, that's the part where the caps will matter even more so. And I think that if we're going to see the same thing out of Bear Brawlers, I bet they're still going to go for the double cap. I'd be kind of curious to see them change up, but at the same time, it's just going to come down to who's going to win that fight. Now, if Troy, go ahead.
That was just one thing we saw today, because as much as like Bear Brawler won those 2 matches solidly on the double cap strategy. They took Kappa, they took their gimme flag, and then they held Kappa. Holding the second cap is significantly harder on Mining Collective just because of where that theta point is. And we saw Strikewing try a couple pincers, but never really seemed to commit on it. It is infinitely easier for them to commit on that sort of strategy on Mining Collective.
I love what Thornton is saying. No one expects the RL 800 Inquisition. No one ever expects the RL 800, but it's good. It's cool to see, that's for sure.
And like, honestly, Strikewings, if you're watching this VOD, I think it could work.
Oh, Zane is a huge proponent for trying to make any and all Urbies work. We might even see it drop it eventually with the 3 Urbies and 3 Atlases. Why? Because why not?
Look, at one point in testing, you let me try a twin PPC Urbie. I don't know why, but I definitely want to commend Strikewing for taking the out-of-box play.
Absolutely. I mean, anything that keeps us fresh is important to see. Go ahead, Zane. I cut you out.
Loading in.
Yep, drop 3, Mining Collective. Who will win it? Place your bets now, but not really, because I don't want to get in trouble for gambling. Unless it's C-Bills, we will take all the C-Bill bets. You can even buy us a beer, or if Ace's Wall is here, you guys can give us tacos. We'll take food. We're okay with food.
I mean, if the scrims are anything to go by, I already owe Ace's Wild 2 beers collectively, so if they want to repay me with tacos, like, we can make a night of this.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and cross to the other side so you can just see the home team that drops over there.
Copy.
I was about to say...
Backspace, enter, and tab, correct?
Yeah, tab, backspace, and then click, and then the enter key.
Also, Hidden brings up a good point. You should try to take off the chat on Twitch.
Oh, crap. Sorry, guys. I do streaming in the regular, and so sometimes I forget that I have things in place. I will turn that off right now. I apologize for the inconvenience.
Capture and hold the resource points.
Okay, we have
we
Archer.
Thank you very much, Hitton.
2 Archers, an awesome 8R, which is the LRM Archer, a Narc Raven. I think Bear Cavalry is going Lerms.
Really? Okay. Very interesting. Well, to give you kind of insight for Strikewind, we have an Archer as well, a Catapult, 2 Cicadas, and a Warhammer 4L, as well as the Thunderbolt coming into play.
Yeah, Bear Cavalry brought Lerms.
All right, we have to see
2 Archer 2Rs with LRM 35, and they've set up an artillery base where I was talking about where you'd want to park the Annie on side 2 here, and then they've got a Narc Raven and a Vulcan for capping.
Right, you got an MRM there. Go ahead and let's see what's on the
This
Archer.
may be the first time we've seen Lerms dropped with this level of commitment in ISC so far.
Say, for the most part, it looks like most of Strikewing is actually focusing on MRMs, but we have to notice already we have a little bit of action going down. Lerms coming down, trying to hit their shots because the Vulcans have indeed scouted out where Strikewing is at. Notice that Strikewing has indeed gone for the double cap, though.
Again, Strikewing's holding double cap this time. Interesting.
Yes, with a
Now
UAV.
got a pair of Cicadas, TDR. Which one's TDR? Trebuchet?
That is going to be, no, it's, if I remember correctly, it's going to be a Thunderbolt.
Thunderbolt. Ooh.
Lots of AMS coming from the friendly team, so these Lerms might not be as effective as they like it. UAVs abound around the map.
Like we were saying, we see this reversal.
Oh, good to see you, Grey Meta Games. Thanks for kicking our butts. Appreciate it, Amelia.
Bear Cavalry, they set up their artillery, they got some good decent Lerms, but it seems like Strikewing remembered to bring their AMS packs. And one thing that Strikewings, when they took Theta, they just took Theta and then they full capped it, mind you, but they took it and left. They are not going to get baited into getting pincered at Theta.
Which is what I've seen, and from our own experience, is a very good move. Now, interestingly enough, Bear Cavalry hasn't gone over, and now it looks like they're actually focusing down Theta for the first time, trying to recap it for their position. Which Strikewing, recognizing that Theta is being capped, is starting to make a push. Now, their push is slightly scattered, but we do have some light mechs trying to harass the Vulcan in the background. Looks like the trades between teams seems to be a little more favored than Bear Cavalry, where Strikewing has a mech at 67% with their Warhammer.
Now, one thing is that, unlike what we saw with the MPLs that we saw in round 1, the damage numbers are going to be a little inflated just because of how often LRMs tend to spread their damage in comparison to these other weapons.
All right, we do see 2 heavy mechs on top of Theta, getting a hit by Lerm. Sure enough, AMS trying to stop it.
I mean, he read the call that, you know what, if you're going to get nothing but Lerm boats, I need to get up on you. But bloody hard in a X1 Bushwhacker running, what else, 3 rotary 2s, was able to dissuade the push.
Yeah, maybe it was an interesting call to send a Thunderbolt in. I bet the Warhammer was, or the Thunderbolt was kind of hoping that the team was a little more on the enemy when they made that push. Definitely a good play if it had actually worked out where the enemy team was there to support it. But
I would want to see the whole team commit.
I think that's all that needs to happen. I think that's the reason why the Strikewing is getting slowly picked apart. Because you notice Bear Cavalry all this time has been relatively murder balling their way, trying to stay consistent, trying to stay together. We have some good pokes. We had some good hits coming from Strikewing. And I don't even think the Lerms were the big indicator, other than maybe it kept the heads down of Strikewing and made them worried about pushing.
Well, one thing that we've seen that Bear Cavalry seems to do quite well is they've always focused on softening up their opponents before the brawl. We saw it with how they set up at Kappa in matches 1 and 2, and I think honestly that was their plan here with the Lerms. They don't want to take the 50-50 point flip brawl with both teams fresh. They want you coming in with your mechs already learned to have that. And they're doing that here. And you'll notice they didn't full commit on the Lerms. They had the Bushwhacker X1, and they had the Vulcan to dissuade those sorts of hard pushes.
And I think the Vulcan, you called it. You wanted to see the Vulcan to come out into play, and it sure did. Trying to give a early scouting for the Bear Cavalry, allowed them to get some sight. Bear Cavalry did get their nose hit a little bit, but it does seem like with the Cicada trying to secure the cap win still, it's looking definitely in Bear Cavalry's favor. Now, depending on the pilot skills of Lorthrain, we might see some cheeky kills coming here. I hope to see it. I hope to see just maybe 1, maybe 2, maybe even a clean slate come from a Cicada, because I got a lot of friends back home who want to see a Cicada win.
Medium pulse and a light machine gun, you can probably do it. And but just looking at the health bars on Bear Cavalry, these are not fresh mechs. 45%, 49% on Blue Soros. Their highest is the Bushwhacker and the Archer at 79, but you can strip that armor off.
They have resource point Gamma.
Ooh, Cicada having to disengage. Too much of a fight. When it was just a 1v1, the Cicada felt confident, but when the rest of the team that showed up, yeah, it got a little dicey. Now, most of the enemy team is on, was going to say Bear Cavalry was taking the top, but from a snipe all the way from this beautiful little Archer, taking it out. And now it's just simply cap all the places, cap everything so this match can end. Definitely an interesting fight. It was really cool to see some Lerms coming out of Bear Cavalry. I know people hate to see the Bear Cavalry, but we have to say it was definitely interesting to watch. But yeah.
Now, so Strike Wing's plan there, they had MRMs on their missile boats. That's what they were running on the catapult. It's what they were running on the Archer. And had they full committed to the brawl instead of the 3v3 strat we saw them doing, I think they could have taken it. How do I put this? This match has been significantly closer than the scoreline would lead you to believe.
Oh, absolutely. I feel like that if Strikewing just pushed together as a team, they probably could have taken at least 1, maybe 2, maybe even had more of a consistent fight between them. But because they were a little staggered, trying to go for more of a flanking and more trying to catch mechs out of enemy place. But the problem is that Bear Cavalry knows that this is something that they've been trying to do before. And so they've been trying to turtle up as much as they possibly can so that way they can resist any kind of push, not really being baited by anything. I have to say Bear Cavalry is definitely having a commanding lead over this drop. But yes, once again, Mining Collective, very close match. I would like to see Strikewing come back in the next drop.
Again, I cannot praise Bear Cavalry for this enough. They are refusing to take the straight up brawl. They want to have you as beat up as they can before they take the fight. They did it here with Lerms. I don't know if they're going to run that back for drop 4, but they may very well.
Very well indeed. It was definitely a fun fight. Did you happen to catch the loadout on the Raven? Did it have Narc?
It was, in fact, running a Narc. The Raven was running a Narc, ER, Smalls, and an SRM2.
Don't worry, Game Matter Games. We also want to get better.
I don't know if
we're just
the stealth
going to do our best, and if it works out, great. If not, we'll figure something out. I am actually, someone inside of me is very happy to see a Raven in comp. I know people said it couldn't be done, but indeed we did see it here, helping out their friendly Lermers in order to try to actually get some good solid damage. And I think we probably saw, I wish we could see a little bit more of the match score for the Raven just to see how many Narc kills they indeed had. But we can just go that it probably helped just a smidgen, if anything else.
Well, it did end up with 362 match score, so.
Well, there you go. Not too bad, not too shabby. All right, we're going to be going into drop 4 now. Let's see if Mining Collective can change it up once again. Now, I did like what Strikewing was trying to do. I thought they actually had a pretty consistent build with running a bunch of MRMs and things like that. Once again, if they can just push together and have a group. Now, truth be told, maybe it is because the enemy team was running Lerms, forcing them to keep their heads down. They could not get into more favorable positions, possibly, so they were not able to put as much damage as they out. It looked like they were definitely interested in taking Theta and Gamma and just kind of holding off. It was only until Theta was being threatened by Bear Cavalry did they feel like they needed to make a move.
This is like, admittedly, I didn't get a great look at Strikewing's build set here, but it's what we saw with the Lerms not hitting early. They had a decent amount of AMS, and I have to assume that if you clump up, the AMS bubbles start to overlap, and you're overall safer than if you spread out and try to keep your head down.
Absolutely. Even with, especially if AMS overloads, all that capability. And as you could see, they were also not taking any chances using the cover that was afforded to them by the structures around Mining Collectives. As we know, Mining Collective has a lot of buildings. And so they were able to actually keep themselves safe from even if their AMS was not able to cover it. So I'm curious to know if Lerms were actually the threat, or really it was just the double cap and the fear that was potentially setting in of like, oh no, they got their double cap again. What can we do to counter this? So do not worry, chat. We are 2D20, and Untitled is not trying to get involved with anything that is considered some of the going-ons with some of our lovely streamers and lovely company that we're dealing with right now. We're just trying to find the middle ground. We're just here to have a good time. Use your Lerms, use your Narc, use your Tag, use all the available weapons to you. We're just here to have a good time and watch you guys blow some mechs up. I could care less about anything that is involved with it. I just want to see an arm pop off, a leg pop off. I want to see the pilot sweat. I want to see blood dripping from their mouths because, you know, they're biting the lips and they're so anxious and stressful to be there. I just want to see a good match. So put all of your politics aside, whether you're a Kurita fanboy or you've been with Ghost Bear for a long time. And then we here for a match, and that's what I'm here for.
Or Amelia had pointed out in the chat is that Strikewing actually did get the back cap here, because you notice they ended up taking Sigma, which was, I think, a really smart way to put pressure on Bear Cavalry, because like outside of the Raven, Bear Cavalry, or the Vulcan, the Bear Cavalry was not an especially quick drop deck. Like, those archers don't move very quick. An Awesome's an assault, it's not an especially fast mech.
It's definitely interesting to see these teams, instead of running like with some of the matches we just saw, or with what we were running, a lot more lights. I mean, we saw a bunch of commandos coming in from like Grim PLEXUS and stuff like that, which makes sense. It's a big map. You kind of want a little bit of that mobility to help you out. But Mining Collective, maybe because it is such a small map, some of those lights are just not as necessary. So Vulcans, a one scout mech, maybe it's all you actually really need in order to get an idea where the enemy is, and then hopefully corral them enough so you can punish them, as we kind of saw here.
And I definitely think that of the three maps in rotation this week, HPG, Mining Collective, and Grim PLEXUS, it's on the HPG or Grim PLEXUS that we would see the sort of delay and play for cap styles of strategies. On Mining Collective, with how small the map is in comparison, I think you're going to end up seeing brawls.
Definitely difficult, and we were expecting a brawl, and we kind of got it. It was definitely a little more of exchange for a moment. Go ahead, Zane. I cut you off.
Brawl towards the end there.
We did, yeah, we definitely did. It was a nice meaty brawl, which is what we were hoping for. Meaty brawl, mind you. Don't forget, everybody, high quality H2O treats you good. Drink up, me hearties, yo ho! It's only cringy if you make it cringy. All right, relax. He rolls a lot of the caps if your opponents are dead.
Or launching into drop 4, everyone.
They do, they do.
Current score is 3-0 for Bear Cavalry.
I'll say, I think you guys are doing really great. Keep up the entertainment. We're loving the matches. And I am an underdog rooter. And so right now I am rooting for Strikewing. I want to see them pull this off. I want them to come back right now, right here. Everybody gets MC. You get MC. You get MC. Everyone gets some MC. All right, once again, I'm going to go ahead and cross to the team so we can see their action. So I guess this time I'll be covering Bear Cavalry and you'll be covering Strikewing.
Copy.
Missiles go whoosh. Pew pew, daka daka, all the things. And yes, Putt Putt, just in case you are still here, I have not forgotten that in my previous stream before I started casting this, I was supposed to sing a karaoke song. I will get to it. I will probably butcher the song, but you know what you got yourself into. All right, just to go over real quick. So Bear Cavalry bringing in a Grasshopper 5H, an Annihilator. Finally get to see one. Assassin 21, Quick Draw IV4. I feel like that are everything we're predicting. Are we fortune tellers? As we also see 2 Vulcans coming out of Bear Cavalry.
And we're seeing a very similar drop from Strikewing. The running back, the Cicada 3M that we saw last drop, bringing in another Brawler Archer with MRMs, and then an Assassin Dark Death and a Catapult 2 are going for their natural, or in their main body.
So we have a Vulcan grabbing Gamma. It looks like we have a Bear Cavalry pushing past Kappa, getting some intel. Now, the Annihilator, I have to comment on it. It is a 2 LBX-10 and 3 rotary AC-2s. Definitely going to be fun for trying to keep people at bay. And while that Daka is pouring through, 2 LBX-10s to kind of really punch into those numbers.
I'm excited to see how this Assassin Dark Death does. Because again, it's another one of these quick jumpy mechs with a surprising amount of alpha that are very much in that sort of 40-ton light category that we see with the Vulcan and with the Cicada.
Real quick, we have our first shots coming from the quick draw, trying to hit the Cicada. First artillery strike. We already have 2 UAVs by Strike Wing, so they should be very much aware where majority of the enemy or the Bear Cavalry's team is at. It looks like they're slowly but surely engaging them. Now the Annihilator.
Assassin too. Got a bit of a split fight.
One more time, come again.
Oh, the Assassin wandered into the Warwolf's MRM Archer.
Ooh, look at that Warwolf taking some damage already. 60% with an Archer. The Annihilator, though, finally getting to the thick of it.
There's very much coming from Bear Cavalry, I think. The Annihilator with the Rack 2s putting in a ton of work, taking down Warwolf here on the Archer. And again, it was... Strike Wing was just a little too spread out, a little too spread across the map, trying to find where Bear Cavalry was, and Bear Cavalry had the range and had the better positioning on these fights.
Now, I was definitely a little worried for Bear Cavalry for a moment there because an Annihilator is a great mech, but it's a slow mech. And so seeing the Annihilator actually catch up the fight was interesting to see, and it looks like the resounding brawl is indeed happening. But first death by Bear Cavalry, Monsoon Clapperus and their Assassin 20 finally getting taken out. The Strike Wing's mechs are being very durable in this fight. The Annihilator coming back in, though, trying to soak up that tonnage, trying to soak up that damage.
They've got the Warhammer 4L with an MRM coordinates and medium lasers trying to all out with the Annie. I don't think that's going to go the way you hope.
I am enjoying the Catapult, though, trying to bring in that Daka of its own.
Oh, Zyger on the Thunderbolt has put in a lot of work here, just cleaning up the back half of this fight. It's an even trade right now. Or it was when I started that sentence. But Strike, when they got into the brawl on a much more even field, they traded out beautifully in that fight.
They definitely were able to bring their comms together and try to help out. Looks like that Cicada, though, is upset at this Annihilator, tanking the rotary shots, but making an effort to try to fight back. But unfortunately, the Annihilator is not alone, with 2 Vulcans still feeling pretty fresh. And we all know Vulcans are a pain in the ass to kill. So with an Annihilator, it just proved too much. But Strike Wing, way better show. Enjoyed that fight.
Well done. That was a... You see, this is why I'm commending Bear Cavalry so much for how they were playing the range game, because we saw when they took closer to the straight up fight, Strike Wing made a much better showing of themselves.
We've gathered enough resources.
Absolutely, and that's all it took was them a little bit kind of grouping up and trying to make an official push into the enemy. And as you said, that Thunderbolt did so much work. I can't wait to see these numbers to see what's actually happening. That's one thing that I have not been doing on my stream, so here's a taken opportunity. First time this caster is actually looking at the comment scrolls. What a pro! Now, looking at this, it does seem that Strike Wing did indeed try to put out some pretty consistent damage across the board. And then, what big shock to us, the quick draw doing some good damage, but cannot ignore the Annihilator with 854 damage. Yikes, those rotaries definitely putting in work and a lot of context. And for the Annihilator to show up late in that match, they had a lot of armor to share and spread it out to help out the remaining team members.
Well, I mean, the Annihilator is basically an 100-ton turret. It moves, but it moves in the sense of it can relocate itself with enough notice. But on a smaller map, Mining Collective, and with some very smart positioning from the Bears, you can make that Annihilator do a ton of work. One thing we might like to do if we decide to continue on this whole casting lark is make sure that we put a score on the overlay and pull together some sort of actual overlay for this.
Oh, I definitely have not done anything to set up for this cast other than I have just the willingness to be here. So I appreciate everybody's time trying to make this work. Karaoke during ISC's match. Yes, please.
If we find the time.
I don't think I can. Pirate life for me, indeed. No, I would definitely be interested in doing this, but we can't call those out just yet. We have to see if we did a horrible or great job. And I hope no team actually thinks that we are biased in any way. We are happy to just see these fights once again. Obviously, we do see the match records are proving themselves with Bear covering going into this final drop of HPG 4-0. Now, can Strikewing take it back in this final drop? They did seem to do better, in my opinion, with the heavier tonnage. I would like to see them to do even better than that.
That Strikewing is just more comfortable in the heavier mechs and in these heavier drops. So with Mining Collective being the 450, 430.
Very good. Let me double check on that right now. We are looking at 430 for this tonnage.
With these 430 ton drops, it could just be that this is where Strikewing is going to finally pull things together. Because like they seem to do much better in the heavier mechs in the two Mining Collective matches than they did in HPG. And I would like for them to take at least one drop.
Absolutely. Just because that would be such a great match to watch. And they have been progressively doing better through every single match. So easy shout out to them. They are doing their best of what they got for what they're playing against. Definitely not an easy match for either team, I'm sure of it. But it is good to see that progression. That's all I care about as far as 2D20 goes, is that we just want to see growth in any kind of form. So love it. Love it.
You're keeping the self-promotion until after the match.
Self-promotion, that does not exist within no, I'm just kidding. You know, absolutely, it's definitely really good to see these matches, and I'm once again just thankful to be part of the Mechwarrior Online community when you can see these great games, see these great pilots who've been putting in the time, putting in the effort to try to pull these matches together, and it's lovely to see these different kind of drop decks. I never thought I would be actually casting with L or M's in a Mining Collective match. That is definitely a really cool scene to have.
And I do want to just say, again, a big thank you to Birions and Mr. Bear for letting us cast this.
Absolutely, they could have picked millions of people, but we were the loudest that said, yes, we'll do it. So it makes sense that they were kind enough to let us come in. But the match is not over yet. With this big final drop, any predictions, Zane, of what kind of mechs you think we'll see? We've already saw an Annihilator come out of Bear Cavalry, so...
I almost want to see an Atlas out of one of these teams. I don't know if HPG is necessarily the map to take it, because you have a lot of that verticality. Maybe something like a Victor is the mech, is a better assault there. But when we've seen Strikewing at their best, and I'm going to take the underdog position a bit here and argue what I think Strikewing needs to do to win, they have done their best when they've taken a fresh brawl against the Bear Cavalry and not let them whittle them away before the brawl starts. And if they can, maybe we end up with a basement fight. But if they can take a brawl as close to a 50-50 heads-up fight as they can, I think that's how they're going to win this out.
I think you might be onto it. I would love to see some quicker, maybe 80, maybe 90 ton mechs coming into play. I do think that they're a little more comfortable in their higher tonnage. So maybe we'll see some more mechs like that. Maybe we'll see a couple of Annihilators. Casual 3 and 2 Annihilators being dropped in this match would definitely make it somewhat entertaining if, not too destructive. All right, I'm going to go ahead and cross to the other side. Go ahead and wish you luck watching this team play through. Definitely a good fight. It was definitely a nice brawl. I loved it. Definitely a good fight. I should also remember that we're on a 5-minute delay. I'm used to the instant latency and no delay, so my chat interaction has gone to a small amount. So I do apologize if I interact with y'all more than I need to do. But let's focus back on the game once again.
So now the active points for this map are Epsilon, Theta, and Sigma, correct?
No. I believe that it is actually Kappa, Epsilon, and Theta.
So we're getting a pair of Fleet 20s from Strikewing.
Wow, that's definitely an interesting play. I kind of like to see. We haven't seen any Fleet 20s come out of them. Go ahead and go over the rest of the list.
We've got a pair of Fleet 20s running 4 small pulses, and then a Corsair 7A, a King Crab 01. They've got 2 Corsairs and 2 King Crabs. They brought a whole bunch of assaults.
That's what the Fleet 20s afforded them. They actually wanted that tonnage, just as we predicted. Now, we'll have to go over real quick with Bear Cavalry. So we also have a Fleet 20, but we also have, you wanted it, an Atlas coming into play, as well as a Cyclops, Annihilator, Roughneck, and a Kintaro. Interesting enough.
So both teams just brought as much tonnage and assaults as they can. We've got a pair of Fleet 20s on Strike Wing, a Fleet 20 and an Assassin on Bear Cavalry. You know, a bit later in spots, but both teams decided to put as much tonnage into this drop as they can.
I am happy to see the good old Slapner coming out with the Annihilator also coming out once again with the 3 rotary 2s and the 2 LBX 10s. Atlas bringing in definitely a brawl build, 3S from 6 and Ultra AC20. It does seem like we are going into the basement with Bear Cavalry.
So the Corsairs are running what I've come to expect from the Corsair 7A, ER mediums and rotary 2s.
Looks like we're having our first shots already going across. Fleet 20's coming in, trying to do some work against these big, rare cavalry brawlers. An artillery strike, interesting enough, coming into the basement. Will it have an impact on the friendly team, or will it have an impact on the enemy team? Oh no, Lorthrain being caught out.
Scratch the paint of the dish, but oh, losing one of their fleas is not ideal here.
Definitely not ideal. But
it looks like what's happening is they sent the flea to check basement, and it just walked into all of that weight. Now, I do think Strike Wing actually has an interesting fight here because they have a lot of Rack 2s and a lot of ranged weapons, and if they can get good corner peeks on Bear Cavalry, maybe they can whittle them down. And you'll notice, oh, this is clever from Bear Cavalry.
Yeah, I see it. Yeah, they sure are. With their only flea light mech trying to do the cap routes. Now it does look like Strike Wing is sending their own flea mech over to capture Epsilon, trying to make it at least a not so one-sided cap strategy. Because as we've talked about this before, taking basement control can be a very solid move, especially if you're able to take out any kind of brawl mix. And taking out a flea might just be enough, but if they somehow lose the capping strategy and they are stuck with just one cap in the basement, then they have to make an eventual push out. As we see from Strike Wing, they are taking a pretty forward position, keeping an eye on the two of the exits, trying to see if they could spot the Bear Capping leave.
Before a Strike Wing second flea went down, I actually think this is a very smart call. They've set up their longer range heavy mechs on the roof of HPG. And then if they could send their fleas to just flip the caps, they end up with 2 caps, Bear Cavalry with the 1, and Bear Cavalry has to make a push out. Now, losing the flea makes that a bit harder, but it could be that Bear Cavalry is going to do that. They'll flip Epsilon, send their flea to flip Kappa, and hope they can force Bear Cavalry to pick a door and charge out.
Now, the real question I'm going to see here is I think we might see an actual 1v1 flea mech fight coming down between Monsoon Cloudburst and Rody PC. Now, Rody is...
I'll yell if they leave HP, if they leave the basement.
Fair enough. Looks like the fight has indeed ensued. We have Monsoon Cloudburst trying to chase down Rody PC. Now, with Rody PC already taking a little bit of damage at 80%, Monsoon Cloudburst trying to whittle them away, but Rody PC is trying to bring them into the fight with the Cloudburst.
Strike Wing's coming to the rescue. They've got both the crabs rotated over, the Corsairs are rotating over, and they're hopefully just going to blow that flea up the way theirs did.
This would be a big boon if they were able to take the fleet, but notice Mr. Bear taking their Kintaro 18 out of one of the exits. Meanwhile, it looks like the rest of the tonnage from Bear Cavalry is staying within the basement. Looks like they're trying to secure their Monsoon Cloudburst because they know if they lose that flea, that means that the enemy team will be able to take out a double cap against them.
And sent the flea to go flip Epsilon. Bear Cavalry really likes the strategy of taking 2, possibly 3 caps and just forcing their opponents to come to them. And we see it again here. They've sent Monsoon Cloudburst out in the Flea 20 to flip Epsilon, although Strike Wing is a bit quicker on the uptake this time, and they've sent Rody in their Flea to go flip Kappa. But the way the cap advantage has worked out here, this is Bear Cavalry's fight to lose.
Absolutely.
Mr.
Bear not noticing Artist Ray taking, see about what, Ooh, actually taking a sizable chunk of damage. Now, it does look like they're only cored out in the back, so they're still pretty healthy. Now, think about this Kentaro, and here we see the answer, is that they know where he is. They know what they want to do to him. Will they be able to take him out before he escapes? Another arty strike coming down. Ooh, is the King Crab, is Zedgear going to drop?
No, they've backed off.
Wise decision. I will have to say, Commander Strike Wing. While that would have been a fun fight to see, probably would have been a devastating one for Strike Wing.
The fight they want. What they want is to get the cap advantage and then let those Rack 2s do work as Bear Cavalry has to push out.
Right.
But unless they're able to get a pick on Cloudburst or Rhodey is able to go flip the cap, I don't think they're going to get the opportunity.
So they might actually have to make a more considered push now. I will say there is a marshalling of the forces from Bear Cavalry. Looks like they are looking indeed for one of the exits.
Yeah, they're grouping up around, I believe it's Delta 5, or Echo 5 build.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm not able to pull up the grid to know for sure. Oh, I seem to be stuck with the controllers.
They've grouped around the corner, the Theta Epsilon corner, as I'm going to call it.
Yeah, Strike Wing. Strike Wing is actually making an interesting move, trying to actually spread and double cap, allowing themselves to maybe use their tonnage to advantage. We do not know if...
I have to assume they're setting a trap for the fleet, because if it's a fleet 20, they probably have no idea where it is. But 2 assaults can take down a single fleet 20.
Oh, absolutely. Now, the real question is that once they are aware of this, once they see the Fleet 20 Monsoon Cloudburst cannot see these assaults making this. They do not see that they're actually approaching, so it is going to be a kind of a surprise for this Fleet 20 to see this happen.
Well, one of the downsides of the Fleet 20, and part of the reason I'm not quite as high on stealth mechs as perhaps some other late pilots are, particularly in the context of ISC here, is you lose a lot of your sensor range. So Monsoon Cloudburst probably discovered that crab when it open fired on him.
Absolutely. And now it does seem like Mon Cloudburst was able to get out of the way. It does look like they're going for the double cap. But notice, Bear Cavalry now realizing that the mechs have moved indeed away from the taking the lead of the top of the Theta, have now started pushing out.
And, I mean, in Bear Cavalry, or in Strike Wing's defense here, the phantom of them being on the roof was perhaps more dangerous than them actually being on the roof, because they only saw the 2 assaults at Kappa. They didn't see the whole team. They don't know that Strike split up the way they are. So for all Bear Cavalry knew when they pushed out, those 2 Corsairs, or King Crabs, were sitting there waiting to open fire with Rack 2s, and Mr. Bear just caught a good 5-6 seconds of rack time.
No, absolutely. But it does look like their gamble has paid off. Now, the thing is that you see Bear Cavalry noticing that the Corsair and the King Crab put a little more damage back into Mr. Bear, decided to withdraw, group up a little bit, maybe because of the harassment coming from the flea from Strike Wing. Rhodey PC.
I think Rhodey jumped in a bit early there. I would have liked to have seen them let Bear Cavalry commit a little harder, because right now, if you look at where the Cyclops, the Annie, and the Kentaro are now, if you drop an arty strike in that choke point, you could probably take out Mr. Bear.
Not to be missed, we did see Monsoon Cloudburst get finally taken out by 2 Corsair and King Crabs.
Rhodey has decided to go take Theta, and his 2 assaults are backing him up. I don't know if it's enough time, but this is definitely an exciting play.
A lot of this is going to come down to how long Ziggurar and Striker can actually hold up against the Atlas onslaught.
That Atlas is just decided to punch that Corsair in the face.
Somebody nearly got in there.
PGI never added melee to this game.
Oh, I know. Give me a hatchet, man. Any day, PGI. I'll be into that. Oh, Striker finally going down. King Crab still putting out the damage against the Annihilator. Mr. Brightside Law not being intimidated by it. The King Crab being focused by not only by the Annihilator, but also by the Roughneck. And it looks like the King Crab is falling down. Now, here comes the interesting time. We know Strike Wing is aware where Bear Cavalry is. And notice, Bear Cavalry is not looking too healthy compared to the Strike Wing. Now, the question is, will they be able to make enough of a push and able to take out the remaining mechs and securing the Kappa win? We'll be able to find out in just a moment.
I don't think Strike Wing's going to make it there. But I liked this drop a heck of a lot more than I liked their early drops on Strike Wing. They had a much more clear idea of what their plan was. And frankly, it looks like Strike Wing was just a lot more comfortable in these heavier mechs than they were in the lighter mechs. But good games all around.
Absolutely. I think the prediction about them being comfortable was definitely a sound one, and they definitely were ready to pick their fights, and they were being a little more choosy. Unfortunately, that 10-minute timer, something that creeps on us all, definitely caught up with them. Now let's look at these stats real quick. We have Mr. Air pulling in 349 damage with the Kataro. The Atlas coming with 163. Too bad we cannot see the damage taken, because I bet it'd be closer to a 600 damage mark. Annihilator putting 263. Cyclops putting 486. Roughneck 164. Not very huge numbers coming out of we have ourselves a Bear Cavalry, but Strikewing, look at Zyger's King Crab 837. Woo! Not too bad. All in all, what a great fight. What a great match. Love to see these two teams come together to put this through. Thank you once again, ISC, for putting this into play. We love to see the tournaments. We love to see the gameplay. And we love to see mechs explode.
Thanks again for letting us cast this. It has been a blast.
All right, we'll definitely have to make sure we put a video up for there. We'll probably post in the ISC chat. Will probably be a better thing for everybody. But what a match to be had. Zane, any last moment and thoughts you have about this, what we saw today?
Honestly, this match was significantly closer than the scoreboard would lead you to believe. Especially as we got into the heavier drops, Strikewing started looking more and more comfortable and having more and more of a cohesive plan. It was great to see some of their brawls. And like we saw with Drop 4 and Mining Collective, and honestly, this drop in HPG, they could win the heads-up fights with Bear Cavalry. But in the early two drops, and with that ridiculous Lerm drop for
Mining Collective, yeah.
Mining Collective, Bear Cavalry was able to make it so they never got that straight-up fight.
Yeah, I was going to say, once again, I do feel like that Strikewing is comfortable with ranged fights. They want those ranged fights. Sadly, Bear Cavalry just didn't want to give it to them. They secured their double cap like we saw in PLEXUS round 1 and round 2, and were able to hold that cap and just stay together. That is one thing that Bear Cavalry definitely had consistent throughout this entire event. They were able to stay together and be able to notice whenever an enemy. They had some great scouting by their light mech pilots, and we saw their light mech pilots put out some good info and good capping in this last match as well. Definitely an easy shout out to them. And once again, not to shame Strikewing, they definitely put out a lot of good damage, and they were definitely bringing in some good numbers. Their best matches by far were Mining Collective drop 4 and the HPG drop. They definitely showed up and were ready for the fight. Maybe it took a little of them to get warmed up in the first couple drops, but we definitely saw them show their worth, and I think we're going to see some exciting matches from both these teams. So thank you once again, Bear Cavalry. Thank you once again, Strikewing, for letting us be a part of the community, letting us shoutcast this match. If you ever want us to shoutcast again, you know that 2D20 will be there for you. Not because we're, trying to drop or anything like that. We're just happy to be hanging out with you guys.
And if nothing else, we may see you guys in the later rounds of the Swiss.
And if that's the case, I hope you enjoy the game. All right, Zane. Well, as far as I know, I think that's it. I'm assuming we're probably going to have to post this video somewhere for everybody.
There's a replay channel in the ISC Discord.
Okay, so if you missed this content, you were hoping to see more, and you want to check out the rest of this video with this VOD, hop over to ISC. Definitely show some support. Join their Discord. They do this. They've done this now 2 years in a row, maybe 3 years in a row, if I remember correctly.
Third ISC. I don't know if it's been yearly or what, but this is the third time they've organized this tournament.
And again, special shout out to Not Bob and Colin Firestar for actually putting in so much work trying to make this possible for us. Without them, who knows? Maybe we wouldn't have as much of an ISC. I like to think the MW community wouldn't let that happen, but it's good to see this many teams and this many gameplay come out. And this is just week 1 of the ISC tournament. We still got 4 more weeks to go, and we're going to have some exciting drops to be had. What are we going to have for next week? Do you remember?
Drop 1 and 2 are HPG. Drops 3 and 4 are PLEXUS, and drop 5 is Mining Collective.
Ooh, can you imagine seeing some heavy tonnage over there in Mining Collective? I think we could. It would definitely be pretty exciting to see some fights like that. And now I'm definitely curious to see if like how much of the mechs. I think we will see more reappearances of the Vulcan. I think we will probably see more reappearances of the Commando. It was nice to see some fleas. I'm glad there is a few flea mechs kind of running around. Is there any other mechs you would like to see come back into play, or is there a mech that you know won't show up but you would love to see it?
I would like to see somebody aside from us run a cataphract.
Yeah, apparently the cataphract was a meme and we had no idea. Black Knights we were a little bit aware, but that's okay. Other than that, I'm just kind of hoping to see a little more Irby action. I do have a soft spot for Irbies, and it would be kind of cool to see those kind of go around.
Mr. Bear did some great work. I believe it was him anyway in round 1 and 2 with the Urban Mech K9.
Oh, absolutely. Honestly, a lot of these pilots did some great work. It was nice to see the bravery that some of these pilots showed. Well, we're going to go ahead and, unless you have any more thoughts, probably end this here so we can let everyone return to their favorite streamers, their favorite matches, and get some more hunting going in here. Don't forget, there is an event going on right now for PGI for you to get yourself a free Huntsman Prime. So take advantage of that. Who doesn't like free mechs and free mech base? You know what I'm saying? All right, Zane, I appreciate you. Thank you for being a co-caster. I hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was fun, man.
It was. I actually had a lot of it. I had a lot more joy. Don't get to shoutcast MWO matches. I only get to do it for like the occasional Valorant and CSGO match. So this is kind of a cool change of pace. And hopefully we both did a great job. I think you brought in some great intel for our audience.
I mean, like, I feel like we had a fairly natural typecast, colorcast dynamic.
I think it definitely did help out. It looks like we did get a confirmation that Strike Wing was there. Actually, this is their first comp experience, which I have to say, as our first comp experience, you guys did very well. You guys, and I will admit, did even slightly better than us when we had our first matchup. So honestly, no shame, Strike Wing. You guys did the work, you put in the time, and you got a lot of good effort. Unfortunately, I also do not know how to end a stream. I usually ramble on way longer than I'm supposed to do, but I just can't help it. You guys are great, and I want to keep shouting out to both those teams. Once again, good job, everybody. Well done. Well done. Mwah, 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 mwah. Beautiful. Beautiful matches. Love the gameplay.
Next time we do this, I gotta get some Gatorade or something on standby. My voice is starting to get a bit shot.
Oh yeah, I've been drinking this D&D water cup I've had this entire time. Need to kind of keep it going a little bit. All right, but yeah, I guess I'm going to end it here. I'll probably going to sign off and finish the rest of my 30-minute stream with MWO, and I'll join you guys for a couple matches. All right, everybody. So this is going to be the end for it. I'm going to go ahead and cut the stream off here. I'm going to go ahead and go back into finishing up the last of my matches. You're more than welcome to stick around. You're more than welcome to go back to your home stream. But thanks again. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed rooting for these teams. And I hope you enjoyed the casting we provided today. It was definitely a lot of fun. I hope we get this experience again because, I don't know, it's great. Who doesn't love watching mechs explode? But yeah, we're going to go ahead and end it here, everyone. So once again, thanks for all the support. Thanks for the follows today. Very appreciative. We had a Montu Cloudburst who just played. Mr. Bear 1974, Grey Matter Games. We also had Band Talks, Grey Wolf 001, Dan McMahon, Cranerex. All drop a follow for this. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I'm assuming you did if you want to catch it some more. If you guys ever need a caster, I'll be there. Definitely hit me up. I'm definitely down for that. That sounds like a lot of fun, actually. And if you, when you go to the stream, get ready for some karaoke, and I apologize in advance. I'm going to go ahead and end this hit so I can get rid of the 300-second timer so I can talk to you all a little more consistently. But like I said, happy hunting, Commanders. Happy hunting, mercenaries. And remember, fins up, time to hunt. I have way too much fun with this.